All right, so thank you everyone for joining this our first workshop. Today I'll briefly demonstrate how to quickly create some kind of an MVP to work with the GoodDollar token. We'll use AI. I usually like to use anything that's free. So of course, there maybe are some tools there that might give you better result, easier to use. But I'm primarily age as I was always thought that everything around computers should be free, from games to tools. So I always look for the things that are free. And yeah, I hope it demonstrates that you can. I think that AI today, there's a lot of hype around it. I'm not bought into the hype, but I think it can really help, specifically building, quickly UI that looks good. That maybe some developers like myself, I have almost no sense of how to create beautiful and good-looking UIs. So that's really helpful. It's really helpful to quickly change some logic in the code, and definitely in order to reach to quickly build some kind of an MVP. Specifically, as this is one of the requirements to join the GoodBuilders program, to have a working app that people can actually start using. All right, so let's start. Let me share my screen. So I use VS Code, and with Copilot, which has some basic free models like GPT 4.1. There are some other models you can use. Some of them are limited, but it's mostly free. So we'll start with the Rion application. Rion has this boilerplate that you can start a React application. So you just type in the VS Code terminal, you type that command, npx and Rion appkit, and you can find the documentation, of course. You can find documentation here on Rion website. So they have instructions. Screen is not visible. You can see, we cannot see your VS Code. Can you see now? What do you see now?
I see the screen with everyone in the call.
Okay, why doesn't it switch? Okay, let me try again. Entire screen. Okay, that was the problem. Okay. Okay, so we'll start with the Rion boilerplate. Rion is it's the most common framework to start using to start a dapp. Basically gives you the connection to wallets. You can find here their app kit if you're building an app, or if you're building a wallet, they have a wallet kit. And here they have different guides for different frameworks. I like to build using the React framework. I think a lot of people like Next, which also has some backend properties. For me, Next, the development environment for Next it's too, I believe, for me, it's too slow. And with React, it's much more easier. And I like to build also applications specifically in Web3 that are mainly front end. So here you have the instructions. The easiest way is to simply write this command in the terminal, and they have this script to create the boilerplate. So I'll start with the name for my project. And I'll just call it the UI. And I'll choose React as a framework and also Wagmi. Yeah, we'll share the recording. Okay, so now we have the UI folder with all the we have the UI folder with all the files that it installed. Usually for Web3 dApps, you probably want to have like 3 folders, one for the UI, and probably you're going to write, maybe you're writing some smart contracts, or maybe a folder for the smart contracts, and also maybe a different folder. Maybe sometimes you write some subgraph code, maybe. But today we'll focus on the UI. All right, so now we have to just install all the packages. So I'll just hit yarn, and now we'll have to wait for it to install. It will take some time. So meanwhile, while we wait for it to install, I just want to mention a couple of other tools that I saw that are nice for building AI. So there's bolt.new. It doesn't have, it has a very small free tier. But when I tried asking it to develop a Web3 app, it gave me the best result in terms of how updated it was with the new frameworks and in the terms of look and feel. And there's also this service by Vercel, V0, which has quite a generous free tier. So I really like using this platform for prototyping ideas and testing out stuff. The recent that I've tried to prototype is building a Telegram bot. So there is one. So again, every platform has its own drawback. So for example, this platform V0, there are some packages it is not able to preview, but it does work when you actually go to the app itself. When you deploy it, you can deploy it on Vercel, which is also a free service. And on Vercel, you can see that the app itself is working, but not in preview mode. So because of some packages that are not compatible. Let's see the status of what happened here. Okay, so there's still some time until it's going to install everything. And that's one of the problem with as we progress with technology and open source, tons of packages needs to be installed. So what I'll do today is one of the apps that that I think are missing is to support creators by streaming good dollars to them, by making some kind of a subscription to content. So this is what I'll try to. I'll try to create. We'll do that using superfluid. And this is a website of superfluid, and they will, I think they will also have their own workshop soon. So they will deep dive more into their protocol. I really like the concept of streams. I hope that it will, catch more and more and more. And if anyone that's not aware, there's the Superfluid airdrop campaign that you can visit and buy, and you can claim, get a greater share of the airdrop by going to the Superfluid claim website and trying out the different Superfluid apps and collecting points, and of course also by using GoodDollar. All right, it's still progressing. So maybe anyone has any questions, remarks, something they want to share about their work with AI so far. Okay, very exciting crowd, but that's fine. Yeah, I should have said hi. I accidentally prepared a whole working app before this call, but I didn't do that. All right, so maybe I'll just start writing the first prompt here. So you need to first of all, it's important to choose the context, right? What's the input that we want to give to the AI? What files we want them to work, and also what files might contain other information that they might need. Maybe it's a file with configuration or other stuff that they need to be aware of. So I'll choose and also we have like 3 modes here, and the agent mode, which is also is able to run terminal commands and stuff like that. Currently, I find it less useful, and I usually like to use the edit mode. Then I open the files that I think that are relevant. So as a first step, I think that the main files are what's important. So I'll just choose. You can choose the files here, but I'll just choose the files that I have opened, and I'll write a prompt to him that you are starting from Web3 app beyond boilerplate. Please modify it to an app that allows users to subscribe to creators by streaming $2 token to them. And I'll also add some context, so he might be able to know what kind of, which blockchain to use and so on. So I'll write $2 is a superfluid token on the Celo blockchain. Okay, so right, it's done here. So one thing I just need to make some settings here because there's something specifically that doesn't work for me. Okay, so let's run it. So one thing to remember about AI is that they don't have the whole context all the time. They need to be trained again and again on new information on the internet. So older models might not have enough examples of superfluid apps or GoodDollar apps, or Reown framework, for example, is relatively new, so it might not have been trained on enough examples on what exactly to do. So in these kind of cases, it's important to give the AI some more context. So for example, I'll try, let's see if it works. I'll try to give him this link, or sometimes it's just even better to just copy the examples, the example that you want, the example code, or just copy paste the text. So I'll try to give them, this time I'll try to give him a link, and I'll tell him, this guide on how to create streams. Because also in the past, Superfluid had, for example, had a framework or SDK that is no longer being used. So that's also a mistake that the AI could make by using maybe even older SDKs that have been deprecated. So let's see what would happen here. Okay, so now it's thinking. I describe what it's going to do, and then it's going to start creating stuff. Okay, so here we see that it tried. So even though I told him not to do it, it did do it. I don't know why. Let's try again. Let's try a different approach, maybe. So I'll just press undo here. Maybe we can try, let's try maybe a different model. Let's see if it will let me. I'll try also caps, maybe it'll listen to me if I use caps. Okay, so now it says that no superfluid SDK are used. Let's see if that will work. Okay, let's go over. Let's go over the code. So I can already see that it's not exactly what it should be. This is old code from the boilerplate that you don't need. So I can just remove it. Okay, it tries to use this Ethereum and doesn't use WAGMI. So we probably need to tell it to also use WAGMI. So let's try again. Let's try another prompt. Let's try to tell it to use WAGMI. Let's see what happens. Okay, let's see what it looks like. Okay. Let's see if it's working. Okay, so now we'll get some kind of an error. Tries to import contract. Is it still using the contract? Okay, it doesn't really need this. It does try to use the. Okay, so here it still tries to use the contract from Ethers, but not WAGMI. So let's try again. So let's see what it tries to do. Okay. Okay, I think GPT 4.0 doesn't really know how to use WAGMI. I tried it before, but maybe I tried a different AI. So as you can see, I'm not very successful so far. This is the kind of problem when you encounter when you try to use AI. let's try a different model. Let's see if that might change anything. So I'm just gonna do that. And I'm gonna try some other model. I don't know if it will let me. No, so it only allows me to use GPT 4.1. Right, so it looks like we'll have to okay, let's see if I can save. Let's see if we can save the situation. Let's try to, so like I said before, maybe we can give it some, context on how to use WAGMI correctly. So maybe we can go to WAGMI website. Let's try. Let's try to give him this example. Okay, so something has changed here, and it does seem to use the right contract correctly with the ABI, which I know isn't correct, but it does try to create the flow with the token and the creator. So what's missing here? So if we look at the API of superfluid on how to create a flow, we see that the signature also needs the sender and the receiver and the flow rate and user data. So let's try to give him that signature and tell him to modify the API accordingly. Okay, so now it added the address like it's required, and it also read the address from here. So that seems like it might work. We don't need that because it's not used anywhere. And let's see if anything actually happened. If our app is working. No. Okay, something happened. Okay. There's this error that's complaining that use config must be used within WAGMI provider. So it means that it probably tries. So we have the where is the WAGMI provider? Here inside this app. So looks like this subscription form is not inside the WAGMI provider, so that's probably, so that might be the reason why it complains about it. Maybe also and these are again some old stuff from the previous boilerplate. Let's see if something changes here. Okay, now it complains about signed message, but that's in progress. Like that. Not complaining about. That's obviously not required. Yeah, we need to import React at the beginning. Okay. And a few. Yeah. It's a fact. Okay. All right. Looks like it's at least displaying something. That's an achievement. All right, but we see although we did tell him to use Cello, he did not do it. So let's try again. I think that in this case, we need to give it the file, the config file of WAGMI, where it defines all the networks. So let's please use only the Cello network. And let's also ask him to, if there is not the network, ask them. Let's see if that will work. And if they are not connected, then we'll ask them to switch. So we see here that it removed all the other networks, right, and just uses the Cello network. So that request seemed to have worked. The use networks seems like something. Let's see what's. Okay, so we have this use switch chain, which is more reasonable. I guess use network is something old. And I'm guessing the chain, you already get it from his account. Okay. Doesn't seem that it's going to let the user know that he's not on the right blockchain, but it's not going to issue the switch chain command itself. All right, so let's try to connect to wallet. So that seems to be working. I'll just connect my account. Let's see if I'll change. No, it isn't the cell network. No errors, but it's still failing. Okay, now it seems to be connected. But I'm curious, why didn't it work the first time? I don't know, but it seems to be connected. Okay, the UI, not amazing. Again, I probably tried that before with a different AI, maybe the Claude version. That's why we're getting such different results. But in any case, let's just see if let's try two things. Let's just maybe see if the streaming might be working. So the first thing I've noticed is that it didn't put any real addresses here. So I'm just gonna copy paste some other address. I'm gonna put it here just to make sure. Okay, I've noticed also that I haven't gave any space for questions so far. So yeah, if anyone have any questions, any complaints about why I'm not succeeding to vibe code with AI, let's hear it before we continue. Okay, no questions. Who is still here and listening? Just so I know. All right. We have Agnes and Austin still with us. Okay, thank you. Okay, so I'm putting this address here. Hopefully it will work. We looked at the write contract function, which looks correct. Write the ABI to create a stream seems to be correct. These addresses also do not seem to be correct. When I've actually used a different AI, it was actually able to put the right addresses. So let's look. So let's get the real superfluid contract and the real GoodDollar super token address. So from superfluid, the CVFA forwarder address is the same. This is the contract that basically allows you to interact with the protocol and the super tokens. All right, so we'll put that here, and let's make sure that the $2 token we have is correct. Let's see. That's the $2 token. Here's the address. Just copy that. Okay. that seems to be in order. And we saw that the right contract also seems correct. All right. So here there's the calculation to turn amount per month that we are writing into an amount per second. Let's see. Okay, it also by 1E18. So it means that we are okay to type in a number and it will correctly convert it to way units. So I think that we are ready to venture into the unknown and see if it's going to stream. Oops, so I'm going to choose this creator and I'm going to choose to stream. Okay, that didn't work. Use. Let's see if we have any more information. No, there are no errors. Hmm. Okay, I'm wondering what's wrong here. Let's look at, quickly check. Yeah, that's an interesting error. Let's just make sure that let's just maybe copy the correct ABI here, just in case. I'm just gonna copy this ABI. Maybe it doesn't accept the ABI in the human format. Let's see if anything changed. No. Yes, now it's working. Okay. So yeah, never trust the AI, and I guess always try to copy some stuff from the documentation originally. Okay, so now we can see that it will create a stream, and let's confirm it. Okay. So the transaction is confirmed, but it doesn't seem to be confirmed here. But let's look at the superfluid Explorer. Let's see if we can verify that the stream has been created. My address that I streamed from. So yeah, we can see that we have an extra stream of roughly $10 a month, and oh, it's actually incoming. Okay, this is strange. Is that the right address? Let's try and connect address. Okay, that is strange. Okay, that's the super. It does show that there's a net flow of -10, but it's not updated here. I don't know. Maybe that's some kind of. So maybe that doesn't seem like my bug. Seems like maybe a bug. The superfluid app. Let's see if it's updated. Okay, yeah. Now we see it. Right. This is the address that I gave, and we have the stream here. Okay, amazing. So yeah, so this is how you can create streams using WAGMI and some AI. It wasn't as successful as I thought it was going to be. I have to admit. I think I've probably used maybe the Claude. That's why maybe I received better results previously. Yeah. So Agnes asks, can you stream in any time frame of your choice? You only have to stream per second. Yes. So basically, streams are per second. They're always per second, and you have to calculate. In this case, we calculated that the user enters the amount that the user enters on our UI here is how much he wants to stream per month. So, but it converts it behind the scenes to a stream per second. If you mean, so it's always per second. So, and the user can always stop it, right? So even if you write an amount per month here, the user can stop it. I can stop it after. I can also stop it just now. I can just delete the stream. I can cancel the stream here, and that's it. There are some more advanced ways to use the superfluid protocol to create maybe timers that you can say that, hey, this stream, I want this stream to stop after a month, or after, let's say, 3 months, something like that. But that, of course, requires you to run some kind of a backend if you want to support that for the users. Maybe Superfluid on their workshop will touch that. Yeah, so I mainly wanted to show that you can create this, that you create streams. Some more advanced stuff again is superfluid super apps. I don't know if they have, yeah, they have this concept here of super apps. So, for example, I would love to see this, this content creator app. For example, some ideas would be that you actually stream this to a super app, and then maybe the user, the creator itself, maybe can also prove or verify that he's actually owns this Twitter account. And then you redirect all the streams from the super app smart contract to the user verified address. So with super apps, you can create much more logic behind, add a lot more logic behind the streaming. Maybe we'll continue that. Maybe we'll take that and continue that in a future workshop. All right. So yeah, anyway, we are at time. So if there are any other questions, I'll be happy to answer them. Okay. Thank you very much, everyone, for your time. And again, if you have any questions, you want some technical help, then you know we have our office hours and so on. I have to repeat that every time. So feel free to be in touch with us, and we'll see you on the future workshops. Thank you very much. Have a good week. Bye, everyone.
Bye.